All right, so quick tip 5, we talked about T-pads. I showed you this T-pad in the woods. Quick tip 6 now, I told you, is angles. This is super, super important anytime, but especially if you have a tight gap to hit or the wind's picking up and you're out in the open. So anytime the flight plate is exposed, the wind is really gonna react to the disc. So say you have it a little bit nose up and the wind's a headwind, straight at you. Say it's nose up and it's a tailwind, straight at the ground. This happens all different ways, but the most important thing I can tell you is to keep your disc as flat as possible. So when you're reaching through, right here, but your angles are coming through your wrist. So if you're trying to throw straight, like I just said, straight through. If you want to throw hyzer, we all know you have to dip the left side down to put the disc up like this. When that happens, the disc needs to have more height in the air, unless you're going for the low skip shot. But you want to get it high, so your reach back is going to come a little bit lower than on your typical throw. So in having to have the disc high, I just told you the higher it is, the more nose up it is, the more wind will get under it. When you have to do this, where the hyzer shot is necessary, make sure you're getting more snap on your wrist. That will compensate for the amount of wind coming through it. So when I'm throwing a hyzer, it's covering more distance, but it's not going as far. So that's another thing to think about, is I need more spin and rotation on the disc so that it can fight through the air. So does that make sense? If so, or if not, please leave a comment, I'll elaborate. But I also want to talk about the anhyzer real quick. So on an anhyzer, this one is the most important thing for angles, because you're aiming it wide out to the left. Now, if you don't put that anhyzer angle on it, you're probably gonna find trouble on the left, either woods or OB or who knows what. It's the shot that people error on the most because they're not sure how much anhyzer to put into it. I would say go back to quick tip 1 and work on your field work on what disc can you put the most angle on and the least angle on putter, mid, and driver. So when you do that and you come back to the anhyzer and you're thinking about angles, remember that the more angle you put on it, the more height you need, because you're making the disc do something it doesn't want to do. You're forcing it over. And so you need to give it more time in the air to correct itself and to hyzer back. Otherwise you're going to see accidental rollers and cut rollers, which we all know are never good. I think it's my least favorite shot to throw. But when you get it high, the higher you get it, the more snap you have to put on it. So if this is the shot that gets you the most distance, full and full, most distance is the wide high anhyzer. So on that shot, it might look something like this. Boom, almost like a roller, as high as my arm can go without, going up here. So when that happens, for me, I'm taking a really overstable disc and knifing it down almost like a roller, but I'm really emphasizing this snap on my wrist. So when you guys are throwing, the take home from this is when you're throwing severe angles, no matter where it is, make sure the higher it is, the more snap you have on it. And also remember, the more angle you put on it, the higher you have to get it in the air. I hope this helps. Let me know if you want me to elaborate at all. We'll see you next month for your next 2 quick tips. Leave a comment on this also and let me know what you want me to cover. There's so many topics I could talk about, so it would be nice to hear what you guys specifically want to hear. Thank you.